So she's calling it a joke, and some people suggested the media too quickly jumped onto this story, seizing on an anti-Trump story because of bias. Well, Michelle Fields is joining me now here in Washington for her first TV interview. Charges were dropped. Michelle, I want to ask you about Mika Brzezinski's comment, the idea this was a joke. Was this a joke to you?
Well, I do think that this shouldn't have been such a huge story. If I had just received an apology, as I was told I was going to receive, which is why I was quiet the first 2 days, this wouldn't have been a huge story. The reason why it's such a huge story is because Corey lied. Donald Trump lied. They defamed me. And they went on this huge smear campaign against me. And I think it sheds light on the character of the campaign. And I think a lot of people were surprised by their blatant lies about me. That's why it became a huge story. It's the defamation, not so much the grabbing of the arm.
So you're saying the grabbing of the arm is not the big story. The big story is what happened after. Let me ask you about the incident, though, so we have the details right. According to the prosecutor this week, you went around sort of trying to get access to Trump, suggesting that you were maybe working your way around the area the press were supposed to be in. Do you feel that you did anything wrong trying to get access to the candidate that night?
You know, I think the prosecutor's decision and the way that they handled this entire situation was very unprofessional. The idea first
but
that
were you wrong to be trying to get to Trump that night?
Of course not. No.
And then they say that you brushed him
bubble,
first.
Which is Katie Tur from NBC, who is an in-bed for the Donald Trump campaign, even said that this bubble thing is ridiculous, that I went and violated Donald Trump's bubble. And then, you know, the prosecutor went and got information. They didn't even go to get an independent source. Instead, their independent source was actually just a source, an expert that the Corey camp gave to them. I mean, the entire situation just seems a little sketchy.
So you feel it was not handled fairly by the prosecutor's office?
Well, I just don't agree with, obviously, their decision. You know, they talked about how, oh, Trump is lifting his arm, therefore I must have touched him. I didn't touch Trump. I didn't grab him. The reason why he's lifting his arm is because he's getting a pen out of his jacket. And, you know, I think a lot of it is just really weird. You look at the prosecutors and his wife's social media. They are at Mar-a-Lago, Donald Trump's resort, all of the time. You look at the prosecutor's wife owns a PR firm. You look at the PR firm's website, and she talks about why you should work with her PR firm because she has lots of great working relationships. And the first picture is her and Donald Trump and Melania and her and Melania Trump. You know, I can't speak for anyone else, but if I was a prosecutor and my wife was trying to monetize her relationship with Donald Trump, and it's right there on her website, and I'm partying all the time at Mar-a-Lago, I would recuse myself from the situation and the case.
I hear what you're saying, but I want to go back to the night of this incident, because afterwards you said that you were jolted, quote, grabbed tightly by the arm, quote, I almost fell to the ground, but was able to maintain my balance, but I was shaken. Yeah. People want to know if you somehow exaggerated that story by suggesting you almost fell to the ground.
Well, after this had all happened, I was told to write something up of what happened.
Did you overstate it?
That's what I felt. You know, I walked up to him with a cell phone, a pen, and a notebook in my hand. And I was going up to him, and I felt someone pull me back. I'm in high heels. I'm not expecting anyone to yank me. That is how I felt. And if you listen to the audio, that was my reaction right afterwards. Ben Terris, who...
So you felt you were pulled to the ground. The video doesn't show that.
No. I wasn't pulled. I never said I was pulled and I hit the ground. I said I was yanked towards the ground. That's what I felt. And if you hear the audio, that was Ben Terris' reaction as well, who the prosecutors also did not interview.
Okay, so let me ask you then about the next step. The other criticism I've read about the situation is that you went to the press before going to the police, that you spoke out about it before going to the asking for an investigation.
Well,
Why is that?
I never wanted to go to the police. That was not, I did not want to blow this up. I was told I was going to get an apology. I never heard from Corey.
Let's talk about not hearing from Corey. Let me play a soundbite of what Corey Lewandowski said on CNN's New Day about that the other day.
That evening, after I read her boyfriend's Twitter account saying that something had occurred, I made a phone call to Michelle, and I never heard back. And to this day, I've never heard back from Michelle. So it's not that we didn't try and reach out to get to the bottom of it. It seems to be that she wanted to inject herself into making it a story, and now I'm glad the story's over.
He says the phone logs show that he made a call that night. Did you receive a call?
I did not hear from him, no. I did not get a call from my knowledge.
He did not leave a message?
There was no voicemail, there was no text, there was no email following up to try to communicate.
So if he had apologized that night, you're saying we wouldn't be talking about this at all today?
Of course, that's why I stayed quiet in the beginning, because I was told from my editor that I was going to receive an apology. So I didn't want this to blow up. I didn't do interviews. I was getting tons of requests. I stayed quiet because I didn't want this to become a story. The only reason I went to the police is because, well, Donald Trump was saying I was making it up. He was questioning the bruises. Katrina Pearson, the spokesperson for Donald Trump, was going on TV and saying, well, if this really happened, why didn't she go to the police? She should go to the police if this really happened, and was saying that this didn't happen. So I felt they forced me to. I had no choice. I had to go get my bruises documented, show the police that, yes, in fact, this did happen. They were saying that I put makeup on my arm, that they weren't real bruises. I had to bring someone objective into the situation to take down the facts.
Will you file a defamation suit now against Lewandowski or the Trump campaign?
I'm not going to rule it out. Do I think that they defamed me? Absolutely. Corey said that he hadn't met me, he had never touched me. We know that that's a lie. Donald Trump, after this happened, he said that the Secret Service told him that nothing happened. Weeks later, Donald Trump says that the Secret Service said that I was grabbing at him.
There were certainly contradictions in the Trump campaign's reaction to this.
And I think there's a reason why. I think they were trying to defame me, and I think it shows malice.
You quit Breitbart. You said didn't support you effectively. What will you do next?
You know, I'm taking it day by day. This has been absolutely crazy. It has not been a fun experience. I had to move out of my apartment because Fox News accidentally published my address, and now we're dealing with
This was in a court document that they uploaded to the web.
Yes, and they didn't redact my information.
So you're not even living in your own home now?
No, I had to leave, and the D.C. police have been incredible and working on hopefully getting some of these very serious threats handled.
You know, I was watching HBO's HBO's movie Confirmation about the Anita Hill case last night. There's a quote in it, Kerry Washington played Anita Hill. She says, when someone comes forward, the victim tends to become the villain. Do you feel that's what happened to you?
I think that the Trump campaign tried to paint me as a villain, but I think there's a lot of smart people in America that see right through this, and they see that that they defamed me, and they're noticing this in the conservative movement. I think it's also becoming apparent that there are people who are providing favorable coverage to Trump in order to maintain access and kind of helping him, and there are others who realize the truth of Trump and realize the truth about the situation and are trying to shed light on it.
Does that mean you think you'd be blacklisted by a Trump White House?
I certainly would not be invited. I don't think so. I would at least like an apology from the Trump campaign before I would even consider going to a Trump White House.
And I've heard Trump supporters say you should apologize to Corey Lewandowski for dragging him through this. What do you say to them?
It's laughable. He grabbed me. He denied it. He defamed me. And if anything, he should provide an apology. But, you know, this is a man, as Politico reported, threatened to blow up the car of his former boss. I don't think I'm going to get an apology.